I used to spend my nights out the ballroom. Liquor was the only love I've known. But you rescued me from reaching for the bottle and brought me back from being too far gone. That's it.
Oh, that's great.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Daniel. Appreciate that, man.
Thank you.
You can't... it's a shame that he didn't get an award, but the right person got the award.
No, that was a joke, right?
Just keep it close.
Yeah, that was a joke.
That was like, now I understood Eminem like 10, 12 years ago, whatever, when he says, I'll never fucking ever go back to the Grammys.
Even with Kanye's issue, right? Like music is just... it's not the same anymore,
it's
man.
Just disgusting. And then you get artists like Tennessee, and I'm like, come on, man. Like, you got to be kidding me. Like, this is music. This is artists. This is creativity. This is what it's supposed to be about.
Yeah, he should have definitely, he's got that old soul, even with this guitar and everything. So, man, it's just, it was a shame. It was a shame.
But a lot of that shame bullshit is going on these days, man. It's insane, right?
Yeah.
It's good to meet you finally, man.
You too, man. Thanks
so much. We were just chatting a little bit and just getting to know each other a little bit. And like I said, man, there's no rules or whatever. We just shoot the shit. And I think I'm way past the point of if you don't like what's going on in the show, then don't listen.
Yeah, what's the point?
There's thousands of other shows that you can listen to.
You get a lot of hate sometimes too?
No, not anymore. I kind of miss it sometimes. You know what I mean? No, occasionally, like recently was some idiot who called me a traitor because I left a comment on someone else's post about what I think we should do with this government. You know what I mean? And I was just like, then he DM'd me and he actually said, you're a traitor. You're a fucking traitor to this country. And I was like, that's a good one. You don't even know who the fuck I am.
That's a fucking joke.
And you obviously haven't listened to me. You also commented on my page, on my posts.
Wow.
It's clearly obvious that you're fucking a traitor based on your posts. And I'm like, wow.
Some people don't have a good set of balls, actually, right?
Nobody does that shit. Back in our day, you did it to your face, and that's the reason why the bell got rung a little too soon, and all of a sudden adults showed up in the playground.
Yeah. People got too sensitive.
That's it.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, all right. Well, we're going to go over. You're a 183.
Yep.
Rigger.
Yep.
Been how many for 15, 20?
So, I became a rigger in 2010.
Yeah.
Joined the union 506 first in 2004. And, I've done a lot of projects, some great projects. And
I asked you off mic, what's the difference between then and now? Is it the vibe or is it the person, the tradespeople? Which has changed?
What's changed? I guess the vibe, and a little bit of both, man. The people too, as well.
People too?
Yeah, man. I've had these discussions with a lot of people too. So back then, the old timers, for me, I couldn't. Excuse me. The old timers wouldn't teach you back then.
You had to watch the old timers.
That's all I did.
That's how you learned.
That's how I learned. I watched, I observed, I took on new tasks. So, when I first started, I became a traffic control guy.
Yeah.
That was the first thing because I didn't know nothing about concrete or cement and concrete and how buildings went up.
But it's a good position because everything's unfolding around you.
Yeah, but you're also outdoors.
Yeah.
Because when I was traffic control, when the guys were excavating and all that kind of stuff, I'm starting at 5 o'clock in the morning. And this is, 19 years old. Just getting into it, right? Not knowing.
I joke. There's 2 5s in the clock,
right?
That's how it works out. At 19 years old.
At 19 years old,
right?
And finishing at 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock at night. So at that time, when I first started, it was at 28.75, and at 19 years old, working those kind of hours.
That's good.
But look how far we've gone, man. Yeah. It's not, the pay hasn't.
It hasn't increased in the same way.
Not much.
Which is such a shame, right?
It is a shame. It is a shame.
How are you going to change that?
The voice, man. What you guys are doing here, and also people needing to go to these meetings. People need to discuss it with their unions.
Not argue. Discuss.
No, 100%.
And here's my opinion. I'm sharing it, and then I want you to share your opinion, and we want to come to a medium ground, and we want to figure out what's best for everybody.
Yeah. Yeah.
We're not trying to be selfish here. I think that there's a lot of selfishness going on,
dude. Again, it's more on people just want to. It's all about the money. But yet, it's not enough
Short-term money.
Short-term money.
What can I make this week today.
Yeah.
And then I'm going to fuck off tomorrow.
And like back to what we're talking about, the old timers. So, you know, when I was younger and having to get an idea on how things were going and wanting to learn, those old timers wouldn't teach you, because at that time when construction was booming even more at that time, you know, they felt like they would have to be replaced, or they could be replaced.
There was a threat of it.
It was a huge threat.
That threat's not there today.
No, because I know for a fact that, you know, a young guy like, you know, this younger generation ain't gonna replace me.
No.
Because of, they don't have the ambition, they don't have the balls, they don't have the pride, right? So when I became a rigger, I took that to a next level of an understanding about the job. Because of every day that I go to work, I got everyone's lives in the palm of my hands.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
I fuck up, I make a mistake, someone gets hurt.
Yeah.
And knock on wood, sorry.
Yeah.
But knock on wood, I haven't had anyone get injured under my chains.
Yeah.
Right? Myself possibly gotten injured here and there and whatever, but luckily
construction's dangerous.
It's dangerous, very dangerous.
Yeah. And you got to be aware.
Yeah.
You can't take the job lightly, right?
No, you can't. You can't. You know, I had one experience where I was working on a job, and so they had a retaining wall that was tarped up. So there was a big retaining wall that was covered, a big mountain of dirt that was covered with tarps. And in the wintertime, crap load of ice just literally built up on the tarps. And I had to go down and pick up some material. And luckily, it was middle of March, maybe beginning of March. So it was a nice day.
Started to warm up.
And then, so I'm like basically bent down, hooking up the load, and I hear a thump. And then once I turn, literally a big block ice came down.
Pull the mic to you. No.
So literally a big block ice came down and pinned me up against the retaining wall.
Oh, fuck.
So luckily when I came down, I kind of stopped it, but it was literally like 600 pounds of just pure ice. So I'm on the radio, guys, help me. And literally it took about 5 of us to get this thing off me.
To get it off.
Yeah, it was crazy. Crazy experience. I've had a couple near deaths, but it wasn't.
And that's just fluke shit that happens on a construction
and that's the thing.
site.
You know what?
You would never think that.
And again, I think it's also because of, people watching over us. Souls watching over us, man. I'm a big believer in that.
Yeah.
Big believer in that. I think, my grandfather's watching over me. I think my other grandfather's watching over me, especially because, my mom's dad, he came here, construction and everything, but he wanted to do something better, and he became a real estate agent and one of the top Portuguese real estate agents in Toronto.
Good for him.
And, and he did something for himself and wanted to do better for his family, and he did that. And he taught a lot of that to me. And I always took that to heart. And that's why, growing up, he was that mentor. He was that father figure. He was that, this is how life is, and you got to take it by the balls, basically, right?
So he didn't become construction, but then he got you into construction, or who got you into construction?
My dad got me into construction.
Your dad got you into construction.
Because I was failing at school, and if I was going to drop out and whatever, okay, you got to go to work, right?
Yeah, but school, like when people say failing in school, it doesn't really mean much to me because school has been failing everybody for the longest fucking time.
100%, because the school is a joke right now.
Right?
School's a joke. School's a joke.
I tell people in the last few years that, all the shit that's unfolded.
Yeah.
I'm not a parent.
Yeah.
I have no idea. I'm pretty sure I'd be the parent that'd be on the news.
You're not a parent?
I'm not a parent.
Really?
I'd be that parent that'd be very vocal about the shit that's going on. I'd be like, no, you're not. I know lots of tradespeople that have pulled their kids out of the system.
Oh, yeah.
Because they just refuse to
I've thought about
deal with it, right?
I've thought about it. I have a daughter, and, when this whole, my daughter's in a Catholic school, right? So when all this pride stuff and pride flags, like, I'm not against the gay people and all that kind of stuff. People can do what they want.
Yeah.
But when COVID happened, and then LGBTQ kind of just went haywire, and it started getting to the schools, like that was concerning.
There was no reason to be in the schools.
No.
Nothing whatsoever.
Like why are you trying to get onto these kids? Why are you trying to brainwash them? And luckily it didn't happen to my daughter's school. But I've always said, if it gets to that point, I would want to pull my kid out, because even myself, like, I don't have a high school, like I went to high school, but I didn't graduate.
Yeah.
But I think I've learned more over the years than what any other school could teach me.
Of course.
As, I got my street smarts.
Yeah.
But my mom's also a mortgage broker, You're right. She taught me that lifestyle and and I've met some great people that taught me a lot of things, and they don't teach you that in school.
I'm surprised that the media has never touched upon, or maybe they have because I really don't pay attention to it. But I'm assuming with the decrease of people having children, listen, I'm Portuguese. I'm one of 5 kids, right? Back in the 70s, 80s, you had big families, right? Yeah. Lots of cultures had big families, right? But today, I see more pet parents than I do
100%.
Parents.
100%.
They're all walking their dogs and they don't have any kids, and then they're not having. So I can assume that decrease in having kids, that means decreasing kids going into the schools, and then you start pushing this agenda bullshit, and now you're going to pull kids out of school. I can only assume these classrooms are getting emptier and emptier.
No, they're making the classrooms a lot bigger.
That's what they're doing?
That's what they're doing. So like they're packing these classes.
Which is worse for education.
It's worse for education.
Now you're losing kids that are...
No, because there's no more one-on-one.
I was a shy kid. I was really shy to even raise my hand to ask permission to do anything.
But I remember back then, when I was in elementary school, we had maybe 15, 16 kids in our class.
What is it now?
God, it's over 30. Must be close to 30.
Really?
But there's no more one-on-one. Right?
What the
There's literally like my kid's school. The good thing about my kid's school is that they're very in touch with the school. They're very in touch. Like the teachers are amazing. My kids,
they teach. They care about the students.
But that's the thing. My daughter's 7, but on the level that she's at, that kind of also, makes me think, okay, she's gonna be okay.
Okay.
Right? But like you were just talking about, you're seeing a lot of people now not having kids and just being, pet parents.
Yeah.
But that's also because they're trying to focus on a career. They're spending all their time in school. You know what I mean? Like at one point, us construction workers were making better money than teachers, and look how far they had to go to become that. Or you hear stories of someone trying to be a doctor, someone trying to be a vet, and they have to spend all this money to get that education, and yet they get it, and they're sitting at home not able to get a job.
Construction industry has probably been the worst, where it hasn't climbed the same way as inflation has climbed, right? Like
no.
It's insane how what is the average rigger today? What are they entry level? What are they getting now coming into the industry?
So
you were coming in at 28 and a half or something?
That was as a traffic control, and that was back in 2005.
So 20 years.
So 20 years as just a normal labor / traffic control.
And what's that same person making today?
Right now, a laborer, for 506, their rates are different than 183, but a 183 labor right now is making $46 an hour or something like that.
Wow, pretty good. But it's not in line. But
that's not even 20 years. That's not even $20. That's not even $1 a year.
No.
Right? If I was making, so it's $20 in 20. So when I was 18, 19, $26, $26.75. It's only gone up $20.
Less than.
Pretty much in 20 years.
Right? You still can't survive. I mean, you can't cover all your expenses, man.
Not with how everything is. No, it's a struggle. It's been a struggle. It's been a struggle, and this is where, this is why I kind of wanted to come here and talk about it too. Is that, I've always looked at unions, and there's one thing I don't like about our union is that yes, they take care of our members, majority of our members, some members. There's a lot of members that take advantage.
It's there.
It's there.
Human nature.
Human nature. So I've always been one about grandfathering or years of experience, right? Because myself being a rigger for 15 years, that's come with a lot of experience.
Of course.
That's come with a lot of backbone. That's come with a lot of, mental strength, right? Why is, some people that have been doing it for 10, 15 years getting paid the same as someone who comes in for about a year?
They shouldn't.
They shouldn't.
No.
They shouldn't. And I've always said, companies, okay, when they call into the union, I need this, I need that, I need this and that and whatever, the union is what they should be doing. What are you looking for? You want backbone? You want someone who knows what they're doing?
Yeah.
You want someone who's been about it? This is what they're at. You want a 5-year, you want a 10-year, you want a 15-year.
What's that say about the workforce if the union just pays similar amounts to the same people, but not acknowledging that the person who has a lot more experience.
It's because they have too many members. Because they can't.
So they got to spread it?
They got to spread it.
But in my opinion, what it does is it just says that you're not as valuable as your experience is. But that's a lie, though.
It is, though. But categorize. Like, put it into different sections. Yeah. Different parts of the union.
Put it in tiers or something.
Tier it up. Tier it up. This is what we got. We have 1,000 guys that have been doing it for 5 years. We have 2,000 guys that have been doing it for 10 years. You know? But that's the thing. It's because these union talks, it's because these contracts, like our contract's coming up.
Yeah,
right?
I'm hearing, yeah.
And dude,
but you're also coming up with an economy that sucks right now.
Of course. And but look at the developers too. Look at the big companies. They don't want
the unfortunate thing though, Daniel, is that it's in the developer and the builders.
Of course.
They're going to fucking win more than 100%, you guys are going to win.
No matter what, because they're losing money.
I know, but you guys are not making money.
No.
So them losing money versus someone not making money, two fucking different fruits there. You know what I'm saying?
But this is the thing, is that the unions have the edge is because of, when people become desperate.
They take advantage of it.
They take advantage of it. And when people are desperate, they're going to just...
All agree
because of they need that money.
Attention aspiring tradespeople and entrepreneurs. Looking to break into the skilled trades or start your own home service business? Meet Trade Links Consulting, your go-to partner for success. At Trade Links Consulting, they're passionate about helping you find the right trade, build your business, and mentor the next generation. Whether you're exploring your options or ready to take the plunge, they offer tailored career consulting and startup guidance to get you on the right track. Visit them at www.tradelinkconsulting.ca today and book your personalized strategy session. Your future in the skilled trade starts here. This message is proudly supported by the Construction Life. How often does it get...
so it's every 3 years the contract gets renegotiated.
3 years, right?
Yeah.
See, that's the shit thing. And then what's going to happen is that you guys are going to have a shit 3 years. They're going to have a good 3 years.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden the economy is going to start to turn in 3 years. And then you guys are going to have a little bit of an upper hand.
It happened.
And you guys are going to level out. And it happened the last 3 years.
It happened during COVID.
See, that's bullshit.
Yeah. And during COVID, the union, the meetings were online. And man, it was a joke. It was a joke.
Wow. It
was a joke. Like they went in at a certain money, back and forth. But like even this year, I'm not going to sit here and discredit the union, but when our sector, our high-rise sector, have majority of the union members working in that sector, why are they doing meetings at 7 a.m. on a Sunday? Because literally, only 100 people showed up to the meeting. The first one, when they went in and said, okay, this is what we're going to be asking for and whatever, we're going to have our lawyers now and, right?
Yeah.
Go give them our offer.
Did you guys got an increase, no?
We got an increase on the last one.
Yeah.
And that was only about
But was it a justified increase?
Not really.
No.
Because what they had the members, and this is the thing, they had members talking that weren't working. They had members negotiate that were sitting at home. So the guys that were sitting at home, or the guys that they wanted more money on their vacation pay instead of their pension.
You had the wrong people speaking up for you.
100%. And we've always had that. Always. That's why I honestly wanted to come too, is to, because you guys have a voice here. People should be talking about it more.
Shouldn't it be more like almost like an election day where your employer has to give you the 3-hour window to go and vote because you have to the right to cast a vote?
But it basically is a vote.
I know, but the thing is, you're not doing it fairly for the right people to speak up. So the thing is, you should give them a 3-hour window. It doesn't matter if it's on a work day. The developer, the builder should also be aware of this, where you guys have the right to 3 hours to come in and speak on your behalf and discuss the points.
But they do have those, but they don't, it doesn't, look, and that's the thing, like they have these meetings on a weekend at like 7 o'clock in the morning.
I know, but when do you spend time for yourself, for your family?
Right?
I'm saying it should be done during the work week.
Yeah, but they're not going to let
That's
you
what
off
I'm
like
saying
that.
is, listen, I've said several things on this show where we should be a zero income tax country.
Of course.
I think that anybody over the age of 55 or 65, when they're retired, they don't pay any more taxes.
No,
it's done.
no.
It's done. They don't get taxed on their RSP. They don't get taxed on anything that they've saved.
You should stop paying taxes after the years that you've worked for this country.
Yeah.
Like you set a mark, 25 years, 30 years. You're done. That's how
Instead,
it
you've
should
got
be.
a government that's spending all this future debt that your daughter is going to have to pay, which is ridiculous.
Dude, I'm scared. I'm scared for my daughter's generation. I'm literally
what are they
scared.
being left with?
It's basically it's inherited in abundant.
Everybody gets into construction and they always want to share the knowledge that they have for the next generation, but they tell, whether they say it verbally or not,
Mm-hmm.
they hint at the next generation, make it better than I left it. That's all I'm asking you to do. And the problem is this government is not doing that.
but it's also the people.
Yeah.
It's
They're
also
just
the
letting it
people.
unfold. I know. It's
also the people,
bullshit.
because how is someone like me who wants to teach, like I teach, I'll always, if I ever get a new partner or whatever, I'm helping him to be better, because I run a strict, I'm a pusher. I bust ass when it needs to be busted. You know what I mean? So I always tell these guys, to be better, you always got to be 3 steps ahead.
Yeah.
And you always got to take pride. You got to, like I always tell them, when I get a new guy, what are you proud of? What do you consider? Do you wake up in the morning thinking about others? Because I do. I think about these guys needing to go home to their families.
Yeah.
Right? That's the thing. So when I became a rigger, I was a laborer, carpenter helper, vibrating guy, and whatever. A rigger did something, got in trouble, got his radio taken from him, got sent off, and I was handed the radio. Okay. This is what you do it now. And then that weekend, I went to go get my course. I went to go do my course. And back then, that course was an 8-hour course. And taught you nothing about high-rise. Nothing. Taught you about mobile cranes and how to tie knots.
So 8 hours?
For 8 hours. Now it's a 2-day course. Right?
What are they doing in 2 days now?
Now they're actually, showing you how to properly hook up, talking about the job. I don't know how it looks because, I'm basically grandfathered.
Yeah.
Right? I haven't had to go back. Once you have your rigging ticket, that's it.
Why didn't they get into high rise? Why are they just going to mobile?
Because back then they didn't have the proper education or to teach you about high rise.
Pull a rigger off a high rise and get them to teach the course.
But I guess now that's what they've done.
They've done that now.
They've done that now.
Yeah.
And even I've said, I don't know how much longer I got in me, right? I'm 40 years old. I think I need another 12 credits. I'm hoping I can get it done by the time I'm 50, right? But even that, do I want to keep doing that with how everything is?
At 50?
Right?
What's this country going to be like at 50? 10 years from
We don't
now?
even know what's going to happen in the next 3 years. Right? And that worries me. And I don't know, but at the end of the day, it's like this conversation has happened every 5 years. How is it going to be? Because a lot's changed.
Yeah.
Right? A lot's changed. And they've added a lot of more people because before COVID, right?
Yeah, we were at 38.
And at the end of the day, look how many cranes were up. Look how many developers were just let's keep going. Let's take on whoever. Right?
But that's going to create problems.
It did create a lot of problems.
That's how you get 80 plus planes crashing in 2 months.
But it's also bringing in a lot of people that don't have union and are working for cash. And guess what? A lot of injuries did happen. A lot of accidents. A lot of people died because of those things.
We're seeing it everywhere. You're seeing it on the construction sites.
Everywhere.
You're seeing it on the roadways. You're seeing it everywhere.
Yeah.
That's the unfortunate thing is you're fast tracking the benefits of experience. Mm-hmm. And that's the worst thing that you can do.
Yeah.
And that's just going to breed more people to take advantage of the system. Mm-hmm. That's what's going to happen.
Yeah. It's actually unfair because it's, you got these people that take advantage of it and, think that they're helping others, but they're not. They're not helping the guy.
Bring the mic closer to you. Yeah, sorry, man.
They're not helping the guys have been doing it for so long, because, you know, I've even had, you know, I've seen experiences where guys have been doing it and then they get sent off because they're bringing in other people at a cheaper price.
You know what? You see everything unfold in the harshest of economies. You see everybody and all this shit that they will do for pennies on the dollar, right? And that's actually the worst time to be doing it, man, because you're just pushing out a bunch of experienced people that you truly need to keep in this industry.
But they don't look at the...
The unions don't they have a button on this? Don't they realize that it's a domino? If I fucking knock this one over, this is all going to unfold.
They've had occasions where they've taken care of those experienced guys. They'll always take care of, like, so I've been I know everyone who's a business rep and everything, and like they know, especially with me, like, you know, I come with a price, you know, I come with the knowledge, you know, and I know that, you know, if anything were to happen, I would have a job within the next day. Yeah. And that's a good thing. That is because they recognize the good.
That's
they recognize
security of it.
It's the security of it, right?
100%.
And it's also being humble. It's also like, you know, everyone knows I'm a very humble person. I can have my moments of being a fucking asshole.
It's necessary.
But it's necessary.
Yeah.
Because with me, I'm not a boss, but I know I'm not going to allow someone to take advantage of that. You know, you have a deadline, you got to get that deadline done. Right? And I've always had that mentality because of pride. You know, you want to do more, you want to succeed more, right? But sometimes these companies, these unions, this industry hold you back, right? This industry does a lot of damage.
Is there too much political interference in construction?
Has been. Has been lately.
Yeah.
Has been lately.
It wasn't always like that?
No.
They're getting way too much into it.
I think the past 5 years, the past 5-7 years, it's been more of a talk.
I don't even know what Pierre's stance on it. I guess he's just more about building, and if the municipalities are building and they're streamlining and they're fast tracking projects, then they'll continue getting federal budgets, right? And money and shit. But that's not what's going on right now. Right now, people are just slowing down the whole process of construction.
But they got to stop the high rise. They got to build more houses. That's the
people
thing.
Can't afford houses. Houses are becoming too expensive.
Oh, of course.
Right? And then everybody, I guess, wants to be in the core, so to speak. But it's not viable. Like, you should be looking at trying to build cities around other areas.
Yeah, but man, you look at a house, you know, developer at 2,000 square foot home, barely $1 million.
It's $1 million.
Like how?
Flat.
How? Because I remember growing up.
1/3 belongs to the development, which belongs to the municipality, right?
Yeah.
So we already know right off the top, you get rid of 300,000 plus. That goes to the city just for fucking waving a wand over the drawings. That's ridiculous. So now the homeowner pays that. But then there's all these kinds of hidden fees. So the banks are in there, the politicians are in there, the tax is in there. Like the land transfer, like the amount it's just ridiculous, man.
I love it when they say we get taxed on our taxes. Like everything.
Canada, what other countries got it worse than us, tax-wise?
I would say the States were back then, but now they're not.
No, that's all changing now.
That's all changing now.
But even before that, there was lots of states that were just zero income tax and only sales tax. Florida, Texas, they were just sales tax. And it was less than our 13% that we're paying here in Ontario. And then whatever money they made as an income, that's their money.
Yeah.
So they weren't taxed on that. We're taxed on that.
So now if we let's talk. Say if someone makes $1,400 a week, you know how much they're getting taxed on that? You know how much they're bringing home?
8 if?
Yeah.
I know.
Yeah.
That's ridiculous.
That's crazy.
And the more hours you put, so you kind of like back in the day, I'm sure with your dad or your grandfather, you work the overtime to get the extra hours because you wanted to get more pay. But you do that today, you get more taxed.
100%. Yeah.
So there's no incentive to be working double, triple.
No, but people don't want to do it anymore. People don't want to do the overtime because look how much money. Look, honestly, so if you work 40 hours a week, okay, on 40 hours a week, I'm making just under $1,300
after tax.
After tax.
That's disgusting.
Okay,
that's like 1970s rate.
So but I'm getting deducted. I'm taking home that $1,300, but I'm getting deducted $700, right? So, and then you add into the overtime, right? Literally, you do an hour in overtime, you're only getting an extra $40, if that.
It's not worth it then.
If that. That's why. But that's, that's why if you're going to do overtime, you'd want to do a lot of overtime, but you're still getting taxed like crazy.
You need a revolution. When it comes to spray foam and blown-in insulation for your next project, there's no better team than Mohammed and his crew at Foamit. With well-educated, skilled installers, Foamit doesn't just get the job done, they do it right. They take the time to properly estimate and educate you on every aspect of your project, ensuring your building envelope is airtight and energy efficient. As leaders in the industry, they bring a deep understanding of building science to every job, making sure your project stands the test of time. But don't just take their word for it. Past clients constantly praise the quality of work and professionalism of the Foamit team. From homeowners to large-scale contractors, feedback has been overwhelmingly positive, with clients appreciating their attention to detail, the thoroughness of their crew, and the results that speak for themselves. At Foamit, they pride themselves on building lasting relationships through exceptional service, reliability, and the commitment to exceeding expectations on every single project. Whether you're insulating a new build, upgrading an older property, or tackling a commercial project, Foamit is your trusted partner in achieving energy efficiency and comfort. They understand the importance of getting it right the first time, and that's why so many clients return to them for future projects. Connect with Foamit today. Reach them at 416-893-8712 or 647-961-9777. Email them at mohammed@foamit.ca or visit them at www.foamit.ca. Follow them on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and LinkedIn to see their latest projects and innovations. This message is proudly supported by the Construction Life. It's as simple as that.
So why not? So when it comes to overtime, why don't they just not tax it?
Well, down south he's doing that. No tax on tips. No tax on capital gains. He's doing a bunch of stuff.
So why aren't we doing it here?
Because we don't have, we have weak leaders. That's what we have. We have very weak leaders.
Can I ask you a question?
What's that?
When was the last time you voted?
I voted the last 3 times.
You voted the last 3 times? I haven't voted since Harper.
That was the last time?
That was the last time.
So basically, the last time you voted is when it was Harper against Trudeau.
So, no, when Harper was trying to become prime minister.
Oh, then. That was the last time?
That was the last time.
Wow.
That was the last time.
Why?
Because they're all the same, and it's a joke. Like, I didn't.
I'm not disagreeing with you.
I didn't look as Justin Trudeau as a proper leader.
I never saw them as a leader.
Because he was too young. He's too young.
It's not that he's too young. He just doesn't have the experience.
But people thought because of his father.
I didn't.
But they thought, and the only reason why,
his father can continue ruling Cuba. You know what I'm saying?
But let's just be real here. The only reason why he became
I know it's
the
100%.
leader is because of his
privileged
dad,
name. I get it,
and also because of weed.
Which was stupid that you actually brought out the young vote.
He brought the young vote to take over
because of weed.
Yeah.
And now you drive around every city and it's just weed everywhere. And obviously we see the shit that's going on out west.
Have you seen his motorcade?
Yeah, it's insane. I've never seen a Canadian.
I have a video from my job site when Justin Trudeau was driving by our job site, and the man had, I think, 8 SUVs, blacked, bulletproofed, about 20 motorcycles, stopping every intersection for over a kilometer, plus at least 12 cop cars.
He needs it.
That's
crazy.
The
sad thing.
It's crazy. I think his motorcade.
Then you see Pierre at the hockey game.
Yeah, sitting up in the bleachers.
And Harper did the exact same thing too.
Yeah.
So it's a reflect. But then you get these diehard liberals in this country that just have faith in the Liberal Party, and I don't see how they have faith in the Liberal Party.
Man.
Old people are going to vote Liberal. Young people, are they going to vote Liberal?
But why are old people voting Liberal?
Because Canadians in my mind are really quick to forget what happens. And right now, I'm telling you right now, they forgot all about the COVID shit. They have completely forgot about all that bullshit. That's the sad thing. You know what I mean? It's really fucking sad.
What's your take on COVID?
I never got vaxxed. I never believed in any of that shit.
I've been vaxxed twice.
Yeah.
I stopped after the second one.
I never had a flu shot in my life.
So the only time I had a flu shot was when I was in elementary school. Right, but
I got the immigration scar on my shoulder.
Yeah, so does my mom.
Into this country,
yeah, so does my mom. Yeah,
and that's it. So once I was an adult and I could make my own decisions, I would tell the doctor, "No, I'm not interested in that. I'm not afraid of needles or anything like that. I'm not interested in that." So
when I asked about your take on COVID, what do you think of it?
It was all planned. It was all planned. It was clearly obvious that it was the best. It was smart. It was the best way to separate wealth from everybody else.
So Trump took office. Trump was then talking about how when he wanted to make America great again, he wanted to stop from exporting from other countries because he said, we can do it all here.
Yeah. And Canada, by the way, can do the same.
100%.
Yeah.
100%. We have the second largest landmass in the world. Resources like crazy.
Yeah, I know.
We have a lot more resources than what they have.
I know.
Right? But when Trump was trying to get away from all of that, China was going bankrupt.
I know.
China was losing money. And I think this was just all a setup because guess what happened? When COVID happened, where did we go?
I know.
Everyone went to China. One of their exports, one of their imports. Right?
Nations became very wealthy. Individuals became extremely wealthy.
Extremely wealthy.
It was like, we don't have 20 years to wait for our wealth.
No.
We want our wealth in the next 2 years.
But
that's what they got. Everybody got it. I'll never agree to another pandemic. Seriously.
No.
You try to pull that shit off and you telling me that chickens have it, whatever. You try to say that. I'm not. I'm never going to put another mask on my fucking face, man. No. Never.
I remember like when the kids were going to school, my daughter was going to school, man. Like she was like, yeah, she was young. My daughter's 7. She'll be 8 in August. But
so she would have been like 4 or 5.
Dude, like just, and then you see these videos of these teachers, like the kids are like trying to breathe and they're, oh, you got to put it back on. And they're like doing it themselves. Like teachers wouldn't put hands on you. But yet teachers are forcing you to put on a mask.
Yeah.
I didn't like that. I'm
telling you, the majority of older white liberals forgotten about all that shit.
So now, when it came to COVID, a lot of people got brainwashed.
Oh, of course.
A lot of people got stuck. Like, so my current girlfriend, when we talked about, we've had these discussions. We have life talks, and during COVID, it's like she doesn't remember. She doesn't remember about the convoy. Is because of she was so stuck into that and raising her kids because the school, should have to work from home, but also take care of the kids, do their school.
How do you forget that?
Because
I clearly remember they weren't RCMP. I clearly remember the cops that they brought in from another country trampling over the woman in the wheelchair, in the scooter.
Yeah.
Like I remember all that shit.
She got emotional about it because I think because she was so focused on her kids, so focused on her job, right? That she wasn't paying attention to the outside. She was paying attention to in-home, right?
Yeah, I could see that.
Right? So, and when it comes to, a lot of people did that. A lot of people, because they were either too scared, right? Or getting told to stay home and don't worry about anything. We got it under control.
How was it on the job site? Because I remember seeing those videos where everybody was just nervous about being on the job site. And then
nothing changed. Well, no, what they did, they tried, but then it just disappeared within like a month.
Because they quickly realized that there's no danger here. Like, I never enforced it on my job sites. I still had work going on.
Yeah.
And I never forced it. I remember one trade was wearing a mask all day long, and it wasn't my trade, it was the client's trade.
Yeah.
And I remember being asked, listen, do we have to wear masks? I was like, you don't have to fucking do shit.
Yeah.
That's it. That's as simple as that. I still remember the inspectors coming by.
Yeah, there was incidents even when we were working on walls and when they would try to implement keeping the 6 foot distance. How are you going to ask 4 steel men?
Physically, you can't.
To go work on a form
and
put up steel.
You can't.
That's 20 feet wide, okay? or like even Five Guys. Like, you know what I mean? Like they're putting up steel. They got to get this wall done. They got to pour concrete.
I don't want Canadians to ever forget any fucking thing. We need to remember our history. We need to remember exactly the illegal actions of this government, and they've been several. The nice thing is that I'm paying attention now, and that whole SNC is coming right back up because of the Attorney General.
Yeah.
How she was attacked constantly to fucking drop it. And I'm liking that this is now a new investigation is happening, not from the RCMP, because the RCMP is controlled by the puppet.
Who are you talking about?
Democratic. There's another governing body that oversees if anybody messes with democracy. So now they're investigating it.
Okay.
So I can't remember the Attorney General's name, but she was bombarded by him specifically to drop this shit.
Okay.
And to just get rid of it. And I'm like, that's an obstruction. That's an illegal action. But now they're investigating him because the RCMP refuses to investigate him. So I'm like, it's nice that I'm seeing that pop up again, because that was at the beginning when he got in.
Yeah.
And it went away.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I look at it how there's all these guys and they're just taking advantage of, we go back to human nature. You don't become a politician to serve the people. You become a politician to become wealthy. And every politician in Canada, we'll just speak Canada, they're wealthy.
Yeah.
They are getting a massive amount more in pensions than the average Canadian. I think that their pension should be reflective of the lowest person in Canada. So if somebody that has the smallest fucking pension, that should be the pension that belongs to a member of parliament. And if you want your pension to go up as a member of parliament, then that person's pension has to go up.
Yeah.
So it's just like, we don't have a democracy here. And it's just, prorogue is going on right now. There's nothing going on in parliament. And he's done that on purpose because he's being investigated.
Do you think this country became a dictatorship?
It is already. How is it not? How can you not say? There's evidence. There's clearly evidence that there was Chinese interference. There's clearly evidence that the last election wasn't legit.
No.
He called it at a certain time that he knew that he can get away with it. And what you have to, I always look at history and actions of anything that happens is who benefits. You have to look at the benefits after the action.
The best part is when they say, "Oh, we're going to take care of our people," but they didn't take care of our people. They took care of themselves.
Everybody, you had elderly dying alone. You had kids that were forced to do certain things that they shouldn't have. You had people you had families separate. You had like division between family, people who agreed and who didn't agree with it, and all on the basis of bullshit.
Remember seeing those videos of kids being basically in full gear to go see their grandparents?
Yeah, I saw that shit.
Right? Like if
this was so dangerous, if it was so dangerous, why even let anybody out?
Yeah.
It wasn't that.
No.
I know construction loved it in the beginning because nobody was on the road. Right?
True.
And there was so much freedom on the road now.
True.
And since construction was essential, so what? But it's just like, the moment I've had health guys on the show here before, and off mic, they've told me, when they first happened, they knew that to increase your immune system was health and physical activity.
Of course.
What was the first things that they started shutting down? The playgrounds, the gyms.
100%, yeah.
I started questioning that, and they would tell me, listen, I approached the premier, I approached governing bodies, and I said, I'm more than willing to offer my services on how to teach people health. And they said, no, we don't want to do any of that.
Doesn't make sense.
But liquor was open, fast food was open, Walmart was open.
Yeah.
And I'm like, so the corporations were open. So you can sit back and just clearly look at it and go, this is a transfer of wealth. This is the biggest transfer of wealth.
I would love to know how much money those big corps made during that time.
Trillions.
Right?
It would have taken them on a steady climb as a regular business 20, 30 years to get what they got into.
Yeah, in 2 years. And then
everybody else is the one that suffered. And now we're suffering even more now.
Yeah.
Because of the economy and how bad it is, right?
Do you remember when I think he was a pizza shop guy and out in Mississauga.
In Ottawa?
No, I think it was in Mississauga where he wanted to stay open and he wanted to,
Okay, they shut him down?
And they shut him down.
It happened to the guy in Ottawa during the truckers' convoy. He was feeding the people.
Yeah.
He wasn't charging them. He was feeding them.
Yeah.
And they closed his business down.
Yeah. Yeah. For what?
It made no sense. And as a leader, so-called leader, you have your citizens disagreeing with your take on things. You could at least come out and speak to the people.
But the people were speaking.
I know.
By the convoy. The convoy, they were...
But he wasn't coming out and speaking to the people.
No.
Right? And all of a sudden, then you start planting people with Nazi flags. And then I'm like, there was nothing negative going on. It was a peaceful protest.
Yeah.
Right? And then to have cops come in that were from different countries with no name tags, no signs, no nothing.
But I think you and I both know that it was all script.
Yeah, 100%.
It was just...
But I'm really saddened by most Canadians.
That we have had to become that.
We had to become that, and also that we're forgetting it.
Yeah.
I'll never forget it. I've said it over and over. I will never forget this shit.
And and that's the thing. Like my kid was young, but I'm still going to remind her that not to take any bullshit, because that was complete bullshit.
They will try again.
They can try, but they will fail next time, because I think people now, they're not going to fall for it again.
You're going to get enough of the population, and I think it's the middle population.
Yeah.
They're going to uprise.
Yeah.
If you try again.
Because before, I think everyone got more scared because they felt they didn't want to lose their loved ones. They didn't want to, because, and that's the thing. A lot of old people died, but it's also because of them taking the shot. Because we all know, you're taking a vaccine shot, you're taking a booster shot, it is because of, it is because of that shot.
Build the future you dream of with Generation Construction. Your home is where life happens, where your style shines, and where your future begins. Whether it's your first home, a space for growing family, or a place all your own, you need a builder who understands your vision and brings it to life. At Generation Construction, they ensure your home is everything you've imagined. Greg, the visionary behind Generation Construction, knows that today's homeowners, they want more than just walls. They want a space that reflects who they are. At Generation Construction, they don't just build houses, they craft homes that are uniquely yours. With a reputation for excellence, trust, and a commitment to working with the best, Generation Construction offers a seamless, stress-free experience that ensures your home stands strong for years to come. Contact Generation Construction today at 705-961-5562 in the Muskoka area and 647-381-0361 in the Greater Toronto area, or visit them at www.generationconstructionltd.com. For inquiries, email Greg at greg@generationconstructionltd.com. Let's build your dream project together. This message is proudly supported by the Construction Life. Someone just sent me a post this morning. I don't even know if this is going on in Canada or even if it's going on in the U.S., because I think this is starting in Europe. But there was a death. It was related to taking the vaccine, and the insurance policy is refusing to pay out because they say that suicide and using a experimental vaccine goes against their policy. So you willingly took the shot and then you got sick from it and died. That's no different than you taking your own life, which is not.
So now, do insurance companies?
That's what they're doing now.
No, but do they send out these changes? Because
I've heard some people trying to apply, get their what's it called? I can't remember whatever. Get the insurance payout, and they're getting rejected because now they're saying you chose to take this experimental drug. It was clearly you were aware that the public made it an experimental drug. And I'm like, that's why I didn't take it. I'm like, I don't trust it. I've had somebody on the show before construction. She was in vaccines. And I asked her opinion off mic. And she goes, no vaccine in history has ever been produced, tested, and identified as a source of what we should be using in that short period of time. Minimum, it's 10 years.
Have you met anyone that hasn't been or hasn't taken any shots?
I've met several.
Yeah?
Lots of people.
From the moment they were born, like, you know what I mean, like.
Oh, from the moment. Oh, I thought you meant
no, because
just one vaccine.
Yeah, so.
Oh, like, that you know, I don't. There's a couple of guys that are saying that
people
their kids,
out there.
Yeah, they're never.
They won't allow their kids.
I got into an argument with a liberal like a few years back, and I tried to explain to him. I said, I'm really surprised when I read something where the moment you're born, you're given 3 or 4 shots. The moment you're born from the hospital, which each shot has so many different ingredients in it. It kind of goes up to 21 or something like that. 21 different things that they put in there.
Yeah.
And then he started just yelling at me and freaking out, just saying like, you don't know what you're talking about. It's all fucking bullshit. So I looked it up, and it turned out to be, it wasn't 21, it was 23, and it's administered through 3 different shots. And I'm like, why would you inject the healthiest version of a human being if it's a healthy human being, right? Like obviously there's some birth defects and stuff like that, but if it's a healthy human, why would you inject them at that starting point? We know why.
What are they going to bring to the world that's so deadly? Right?
They're bringing nothing.
Nothing. Absolutely nothing.
That's what I mean. So if I had a kid, yeah, there's no fucking shot. Like, it's just, that's how it is. And it was kind of sad during all those years. You had a lot of young guys dating. I remember them telling me about fucking Tinder and you have to be vaxxed for me to date you. And I'm like, and then that flipped the script the moment the shit changed.
Well,
now I'm only looking for unvaxxed fucking sperm. And I'm like, holy shit, I should be doing vials of it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And selling it on fucking eBay or some shit.
Yeah.
No, it just shows you how stupid people became. So now nobody wants to talk about it. Now everybody just wants to talk about Trump's bad. Trump's bad. Canadian.
But is he actually bad, man?
He's
not bad, man.
He's not bad.
He's not.
I don't have a single problem with him.
Because he was making a difference when he first took office.
Someone recorded a conversation of him fucking saying, I grabbed her by the pussy. Oh my God.
He was an old man.
If there was a mic on me during the whole fucking 24/7 of my entire life.
When you're out with the boys or when you're just, shooting the shit with someone, you're having an honest man conversation.
How dare you, not go through life and not expect someone's going to offend you.
And just be judged for it because
fucking break.
Because you were just being whatever. What was really bad about it? Absolutely nothing.
I'm not allowed to share my opinion.
Yeah.
That's what we've gotten to. Well, I'm sorry, but I don't hang out with that many liberals.
No.
And if I do, I just walk away from them.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, I don't have the time to argue with you, right?
No. That's the thing, but there shouldn't be an argument. There shouldn't be.
You can believe what you want, and I can believe what I want.
That's it.
Just don't tell me what I believe in is not right.
Yeah.
I'm not telling you what you believe in. I don't judge anybody who got vaxxed. That was your decision. You got vaxxed. All my siblings got vaxxed. They judged me. I didn't judge them.
True.
Why is it that the unvaxxed never judged?
Yeah.
Never judged.
Yeah.
But the vaxxed judged.
Yeah. I never judged. I never told anyone, well, you should go get vaxxed.
That's your decision. It's your fucking body. Nobody's ever going to tell me what to do with my body.
And the only reason why I did get vaxxed is also because of when I was married at the time. My ex had an autoimmune disorder, right? She had liver problems, so she'd have to take a pill every day for that. Yeah. So, that was the focus. Well, you can't be at work while I'm at home and then you catch something and I get sick.
Yeah.
Right? Or the schools and this is how it's going to be. You know what I mean? It's just like your kid needs to get vaxxed. You got to be vaxxed. You got to be vaxxed. You got to be vaxxed if you want to get an education.
I hated standing.
Even now, my kids going into high school. So say if a kid was in public school and they wanted to switch schools and wanted to go to a Catholic school. Okay. If she didn't have a certain booster shot,
they wouldn't let them in.
Or they won't allow them to continue going to school until they get vaxxed, or until they get that shot because of HPV or you know what I mean, like all those other kinds of stuff. It doesn't make sense.
Don't people realize that big pharma is connected to food and food is connected to all the everything's just being designed this way? The best thing you can do is stay away from doctors, man.
Where did we lose? Because you see a lot of people now packing up their shit, gonna go find a piece of land, and go live off the land.
Don't blame them.
I don't blame them because I'm getting ready to do that myself, man.
I don't blame them.
But I would love to pack, but my circumstances are a little different.
Figure out what you're.
Because I got a daughter. She's with her mom majority of the time. You know what I mean? It's just, and that's the thing. Do I find a way so I can find a nice piece of land, and then I have a little compound, and then have her there. So when my kid's there all the time, but she's doing her own thing. How does that look, right? And I want to be close to my kid. And you hear these stories of these couples are splitting up, and then. The father or the mother, say, fuck it, I'm going to go live my life, I thought about it. I thought about, hey,
it's a hard decision.
It's a hard decision.
Yeah.
You know, I thought about it. Would I be selfish or would I be an asshole if I said, finally, you know what? I'm going to go do something for me. I'm going to go live my life, but also leave that other life behind and leave my daughter behind? Right?
Is
it selfish?
It's the lesser of two evils. You have to figure out, right?
Right? Because now, you know, you see these movies. They're hinting something. You know,
Which movies?
like what was that? The Day the Earth Stood Still, or the one with Julia Roberts.
Oh, that one. That was all propaganda. I never watched it.
But now there's homesteads. There's these movies on this new movie. Like, you know, I can't remember what it was. You search up Homestead. It's like a new Netflix kind of.
What? And they're making what?
So they're making movies about, you know, if the government goes to shit and the grid goes down, and, you know, people are taking care of themselves.
I got more than enough guys sending me shit that I just like. I see the post come in and I'm like, I really don't have the time to.
No, but hear this though. But hear this, and this is what's interesting. If something would to happen, the grid goes down, we lose power. The average household only has 3 days of survival.
Yeah, I believe it.
Right?
Yeah.
Like the average household, like even yourself. Let's just say you're not married?
No.
Okay. So you yourself in your home right now
3 days
have about 3 days of survival. Food to get by, right? And yet there's people out there that have literally basements, cold cellars, full of supplies.
just preparing for it.
Just preparing for it. And people have been doing this for a long time.
I can believe it.
They've been doing it for a long time.
I'm pretty sure during the pandemic, like the whole bomb shelter thing, that whole business increased.
But people have been doing, yeah, but those companies that were you know, putting out there, we'll build you a bomb shelter for however, you know, those guys blew up like crazy.
Construction guy, bring a backhoe, get it in the backyard, excavate it.
But people did do
form
that.
it, build the concrete.
And I'm curious to know, during COVID, was the property value of a lot of different lands get sold because of that?
Possibly.
Right? People said, hey, we got money, let's go buy a piece of land, let's go put a bunker and build a nice little house on there.
I'm sure lots of people, but they're also the same thing, is that you get a lot of these people that have the same mindset. They're hanging out with each other.
Yeah.
Versus other people, like last week I was at a cigar lounge with a few people and we were just shooting the shit. That's it. We weren't judging each other. I met 4 of them for the first time and we weren't judging each other. Certain conversations like this came up and certain shit came up. Tax came up, running a business in Canada. Where am I going to go? How am I going to survive? Shit like that all came up while we're smoking and we're just shooting the shit, but we're not judging each other. Versus I think that if you're someone gave me a little term recently because something happened and he was saying that most people that made a decision that goes against what was really right to do will die on the hill with that decision. They won't retract. So if you're committed to this decision, doesn't matter now. Doesn't matter if you internally know that it's wrong, you are still going to fight for this decision that you made and you're going to die on that hill for it. And that makes no sense to me, man.
No.
If you find out information that contradicts to what you believed in during that time, then you have the right to change your opinion about it and start backtracking on it. And then your fear is that your community that you've been together with and they've all supported each other with will turn against you now. And I go back to human nature. But maybe those aren't the people you should be with then. I get it. Like, humans are supposed to be interacting with other humans, but humans are not supposed to be judging other humans for the actions that they chose.
People lost track on just how to be.
Where's the family today? Like, where is the family
So
today?
when we were talking outside, you know, I told you, like, growing up, it was big. Like, Portuguese life was just, you know.
I missed the picnic table covers.
Oh, dude.
The cheesiest ones, the better.
The better, man.
The plastic.
Because, and I've said this to my mom too. Like, so we would go to my grandfather's almost every weekend, and like, I miss those, man. I missed those Family, especially in the summertime, he out in his backyard.
You know what the one thing that never happened at those family get-togethers was?
What's that?
The one thing that I don't remember as a child and probably into my 20s, no family member ever criticized another family member. We all just fucking got along. The food was the best. There was alcohol, beers, and wine.
There was no judgment.
There was no judgment. There was a hierarchy of the family. If you were fortunate enough, your grandparents were there, uncles were there, your parents were there, your siblings were there.
Everyone was there.
But nobody criticized anybody.
I think they criticized after they left.
But yeah,
after they left.
But they did it to because they're interested in your life. They're interested in who you are and what you're going to become, right?
Yeah.
But they didn't criticize and start pointing a target at you.
No.
That never happened, and those family get-togethers are gone now.
100%, and I think that's why when I said a piece of me died with my grandfather, because that lifestyle died with him.
They always say that.
I think my grandfather's purpose for me, my grandfather's purpose was that eye opener, because I saw what it did to him. Because I knew the kind of man he was when he had his family.
Yeah.
He was humble, he was in love, and he was the richest man when he had that. That's all he cared about. That's all and I'm sure a lot of people had those. I'm sure a lot of people had those grandparents.
Most of us grew up in that.
Yeah, but
we don't have it today.
No, man. And I think that's why,
And then here's the other kicker, Daniel, is that when I look at the younger versions of these people, none of them, in my opinion, will become that person.
They don't know what family's about.
They don't.
They don't.
I can't look at my siblings and going, you could be just like mom or my mom's parents, or you can be my dad's parents. None of my siblings, I can think that.
So why not?
And that's scary.
Yeah. Yeah. Like, and how do you ask someone to be something that they know they can be? I think for me is I grew up in a generation of that last bit of family generation. And I think because I'm that old school is because I want to bring that back. I'm very, very but I love my people. I think, back then I used to say blood over water. Mm-hmm. But now where I'm at is blood or whatever, but everything, just being human. We can all be a family. You and I can be a family.
But a lot of people don't think that, right? And I think a lot of it has to do with that. We keep forgetting what our grandparents, what our parents, what they struggled with to provide in a life that allowed you to provide that. We're not being given the tools we need today to provide that same life. So then we start becoming selfish and we start figuring out, everybody has their own family now. I get it. I understand that. I respect it, right? I've got nieces and nephew, but you still have to be respectful to the hierarchy of that family, where it all came from, right? Meet Jonathan Sinelli, the visionary behind People First Leadership. Jonathan is not your average leadership coach. His People First Leadership approach focuses on putting people at the core of your strategy, creating workplaces where teams thrive and achieve outstanding results. What sets him apart? Jonathan is a master at asking thought-provoking questions that spark genuine conversations and challenge conventional thinking. His deep empathy helps him understand unique challenges and guide people toward impactful solutions. As an accomplished author, media host of the People First podcast, and seasoned project management expert with a background as an electrician, Jonathan offers unparalleled experience and practical insights. Whether you're interested in a one-on-one coaching or breakout room sessions, Jonathan customizes his approach to your needs. He also travels the world, speaking at conferences and business events, inspiring leaders with his dynamic presentations. Discover how People First Leadership can transform your approach and ignite your team's potential with Jonathan Sinelli. Call Jonathan at 416-717-4139 or email him at jc@jonathansinelli.com. or reach out to him on his website at jonathansinelli.com. This message is proudly supported by the Construction Life podcast. Like, I look at it like, take The Godfather. Once Vito died, that family changed dramatically, and Michael wasn't the one to replace Vito.
No.
It wasn't.
No.
Right? So it's like, and the same thing's going on today with everybody's families now. When you had this division going on, you don't have people, and there should be, in old school European cultures, even Asian cultures, all kinds of, there's always one person that is that person that starts to become the top of the family arc now. And today in Canada, it's not there anymore. Everybody's in their own silo now. Everybody's in their own, this is what's important for me. I don't care about you guys. You guys all want to be a collective today. Like, will you, part of the family will be a collective today? I guarantee you that if you're not taking the whole family and being a collective, then that part that you're collecting right now is going to segregate in the future.
Yeah, people always go their separate ways. Yeah.
My mom came from 5. She was one of 5. My dad was one of 4. You know what I mean? And the moment that you start losing that top and it goes down, someone needs to replace that top, right? And if you don't get someone that fills that position, then that family disappears. And you won't get those picnics. You won't get the get-togethers. You won't get any of that shit.
So, I don't know if I'm gonna. So my grandmother on my dad's side recently died 6-7 months ago.
Right.
So she had Alzheimer's, and then, she was deteriorating, and I always said that family would stick together because of her. So when my grandfather died, 12, 13 years ago on my dad's side. So my grandmother was around for a while. She started losing her memory and started, about 5-6 years ago. And then that was just, she just started slowly deteriorating. I always, she was the last straw. She was the last bit of love or life in that family. And I'm hoping, like I'm doing my own thing. Like I call once in a while to see how they're doing, but I don't go to family occasions anymore, just because of my own thing that goes on that side. But I did always say, when she goes, the family's got to make a choice. And who's going to step up to make that choice? And who's going to step up to be that? Right? Because majority of the time, like you said, families, when that backbone goes and no one steps up, everyone goes their separate ways.
That's exactly what happens.
Right? Now, do I become that person? Maybe one day. But I also need to worry about taking care of myself and getting my own family.
I know. But right? You can do both, right? Because your parents, your grandparents, they did both.
I could, yes. But that's also coming to a realization is if it's needed. Right? Because
or even will it help, right?
Or will it help? Because people go through things. People, I'm not going to go into details, but I'm not a fan of certain things on that side.
Yeah.
Or but for me to stay happy, for me to stay humble, I choose to just avoid other things. So maybe one day I can go back to it and be that person by bringing them back or by bringing that family mindset or whatever. But all I know is for me now is that I need to worry about me.
Of course you do.
My mental health.
Yeah, of course.
My family.
Yeah.
And make sure that I do what I need to do to be right. And
all
to
you
be a
can
better
do,
person.
Trust me, Dan, all you can do is at least have the conversation and explain that this is what this family used to be about. But now that we've lost the two people that held this family together, we need to figure out who's going to be the replacement here. And if nobody wants to step up and do that, then you can't force anybody to do anything.
So try having a conversation with them about it, but then it goes sideways because people are too sensitive because they're too guilty.
You can't do anything.
No, because some people get guilty because at the end of the day, we tell them, okay, it's time for a change.
But at least you had the conversation.
Had the conversation,
That's
but sometimes
if the conversation gets revisited again, then that's simple. But at least you had the conversation. The thing is that you need to still communicate.
Of course, 100%. But you know what? I'm always one to talk stuff out, right? Or to give people other chances. But it's time. But there comes a time where, you know, chances run out, conversations run out, and it's sometimes the same conversation happens over and over again, and there's no resolution.
There's a quote, if you don't get to things that you need to take care of or accomplish or whatever, one day you're going to wake up and realize you have no time to do it. And that's exactly what's going to happen. As soon as you go past your halfway mark, whether you want to consider middle age or whatever, you pick your fucking date. I'd love to fucking croak at 100, do it exactly 100 years later on. So whatever, I'm halfway down. But if you look at things and then just go, where the fuck was I going with this? I'm trying to remember. I totally fucking forgot. Yeah. No, you don't have the time, right? So
no, time's our worst enemy.
You don't see the quote, right? So the quote was about like if you don't want to achieve or you don't go after these goals that you want to achieve or these conversations you want to have, one day you're going to wake up and you're not going to have the time to have these conversations. So you just have to be careful about that. But you're right. There's only so many times that you can go and ask or try to communicate. The one thing I do really well these days is I don't raise my voice. I haven't raised my voice in probably 10 years.
Good for
There's
you.
no point in it, right?
No, of course.
It doesn't benefit anything. But other people around me raise their voice.
Yeah. And that's also because of growth. That's also because of, you know, you
can't communicate.
No, you can't. Because, you know, what I'm learning now, especially, like, you know, I would say this in the past 5 years, I've learned a lot more about communicating, about being humble. And, you know, you try these new tools, you try to stay on that path, but sometimes it gets forgotten because you're heated in a heated conversation.
Yeah.
Right? It's all in the person. You want to be different, you got to put in the work. You don't want to do those same habits that you did before or other people did. You got to do the work. You got to make the changes. So, you know, it's nice to know that people are seeing that there are things that need to change.
Yeah.
And some people are too selfish, you know, because they don't have that mindset. You know, like, I'll give you an example. I can't go a day without thinking about my kid.
It's a good thing.
Or wanting to see my kid.
Yeah.
You know, circumstances, I work, so, you know what I mean? Like, and I get to see her when I see her and all that. But like, I want to get to a point where I can have her all the time. You know, one day she'll probably decide what she wants to do when she's older.
Yeah.
If she wants to come with me or stay with whatever. But at the end of the day, I need to put in the work and make sure that she knows I'm not going anywhere. And there's some parents out there that don't think like that.
No.
That are selfish, right? Or like, you know, and you hear these issues, you hear these stories, you know, young women having daddy issues and wanting their fathers, you know, like wanting their fathers to step up and be something, right? Be that man that they've always needed.
Why do you think that the fathers didn't step up?
Because they were too selfish. They were too caught
Focus
up
on themselves.
Focus on themselves, and
These are fathers that are no longer with the mothers.
yeah.
I mean, I've got my thoughts on. Like, I mean, it's got to be challenging these days to date somebody,
Of course.
because of what you bring to the table, and I think that more women bring a shitload more than more men bring to the table.
But some men also bring a lot of bullshit
I know.
too,
I'm just saying
Yeah.
it's skewed more towards women, and it's just because I know, factually speaking, more women start the process of separation than more men do.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So, and even in lesbians couples, you know, like they're still doing the exact same thing. The percentages are almost identical to hetero couples. And I'm like, but then gay couples is nowhere near the same numbers.
Yeah.
So obviously it's clearly skewed towards the female part of the equation, right?
True.
Which is just unfortunate, but you know, they want to find their power, find their peace, find their serenity, find whatever, and they don't want to be with the person that they chose to have a child with. That's their decision. It's great, but there's a bunch of shit that's attached to that later on.
So now this has been also a thought for. It's just no one teaches you about the work it takes, right? And coming from a divorced family, right? When I met my ex-wife, my whole focus was never to be what they were.
Of course.
Right?
Because you grew up in that.
You grew up in that. But guess what? When you constantly say something, you got to do it. But I didn't do it. And then I saw myself doing the exact same thing that they were doing. And it only took, and I'll say this too, I think the industry was also a big part of it.
I'd say so.
Like the construction life is, you look at the percentages, I don't know what they are, but I know they're high on divorces, domestic abuse
but what do men do? When they have problems and they're bottled up and they can't really...
They stay at work.
And I don't give a shit about more men should speak to people. Like, no. I don't think that's the fucking solution.
No.
A lot of men out there don't necessarily want to speak to fucking anybody.
No, because...
They just want clarity in their mind. But what do? They go to the job site and they work.
Yeah, but
they neglect their family.
Yeah, but I was one of those guys where I would go to work and I would work overtime, but then there was times that I wasn't working overtime and I was at the bar. Right? Because I didn't want to face or I didn't want to deal with the bullshit. Right? Where instead of talking or instead of communicating or getting the help, I looked at that as the help. And a lot of men do that.
There's different ways of getting the help.
Of course, but no one's taught you that.
Well,
and this is the thing, and no one's taught you that because of men not actually talking. Listen, we all hear the stories about, growing up, you were taught to be a man, not to talk about your feelings. But at the end of the day, was that the right thing?
Yes and no.
Yes and no. Yes, because we have a job to do, job to provide, a job to be present, a job to be that person. And sometimes we get selfish because we haven't spoken to someone, because we're letting it all build up.
We bottle it. Yeah.
And we bottle it in. And then we look for another way to cope.
Yep. My
coping was to head up the bar, go see my friends, go do whatever. Was it the right thing? Maybe at the time. But it also was the wrong thing too, because of it took away what my value was.
Yeah.
I didn't want to be the divorcee. I wanted to have a big family. Right?
The thing with divorce and separation is that you can never force anybody else to make a decision that they don't want to make.
Of course.
Right? So but the problem is that you begin this statement by making a decision that has no other way but being affected by that. And what I mean is that you have a child or you get involved or you get married with somebody, there's a second party attached to that decision. You can't control it. So, and that person will grow and change. You will grow and change. Whether or not you two will grow and change together, that leads to the separation.
Yeah.
And now you've got a child, then that's a factor of it.
Yeah.
But in deep down, you want to make it work. Most men, from my understanding, want to make it work.
No, of course.
They always want to try to make it work.
They'll put in the work. They'll put in the work.
They'll do it. They'll put in the work.
Now
they'll sacrifice.
Now they will.
And they'll do it, right? Mm-hmm. But I find that most women won't. Most women want to move on and find somebody else that can fill that void.
I think it's more because they'd rather give up. They would rather walk away than having to put in the work that's already lost.
I don't think it's given up. I think they honestly believe that the grass is greener with this new person. Feeling the weight of the world on your shoulders? You're not alone. Working in the trades can be tough, long hours, physical demands, and the constant pressure can take a toll on your mental and emotional well-being. It's time to invest in you. Steps to Happiness Coaching offers personalized support to help you manage stress and improve work-life balance, build resilience and overcome challenges, enhance your relationships on and off the job site, and find purpose and satisfaction in your work. Life coach Teresa Greco understands the unique pressures of your world. You'll learn practical tools and strategies to unlock your inner joy. Let her help you build a stronger, happier you. So don't let stress hold you back. Schedule a free consultation today. You deserve to be happy because life is too short to be anything but. Check out Steps to Happiness Coaching at teresagreco.ca or email Teresa at stepstotruehappiness@gmail.com or connect with her on IG at Teresa Greco _Steps to Happiness or Facebook Steps to Happiness with Teresa Greco. This message is proudly supported by the Construction Life.
Yeah, but now
you get all those feelings in the beginning where, oh my God, this is so cute. Everything's fine. You're amazing. You're doing shit that my ex never did. Yeah. And everything looks fucking great until you realize that this is not what I really want.
There's different stages of a relationship. There's different stages, and you got to get past that hard part, that hard stage of the relationship. Yeah. If you can get past that hard stage of the relationship, then it's smooth sailing. You know, like you said, the grass ain't green on the other side. You got to make your grass greener on your side. By putting in the work.
The men are doing that. The women
men are doing it now. Men are doing it now. But my dad didn't do it.
No, but that's not our parents. No, they weren't like that, right?
But because they didn't know. They didn't have the knowledge. No. They weren't taught.
No.
They weren't taught that. And I thought because of witnessing what they went through, I was said to myself, I ain't gonna be that. I'm not gonna do that. I'm not gonna do what they did. But then I lost track of it because of my own life. Because okay, now I got a family, now I got to bust my ass,
there's a massive uptick on North American men finding wives outside of North America. There's a huge uptick.
But why is that a thing now?
Because they want traditional female values associated with their male values to have a traditional couple value.
So
it doesn't exist in North American culture.
Have you not gotten married because of that?
I never got married because I knew that relationship was never going to survive. It was never. There was no way in my 20s that I can sit at myself and look at myself and speak to somebody and saying, I could be old with you.
Excuse me.
And believe it.
Did you ever come close?
Yeah, there's been a couple of times came close, but no, right? Mm-hmm. And I just said no. And then sure enough, they ended up getting married and divorced.
Yeah, it's funny, eh?
Because the funny thing is that when the divorce happens, they reach out to you, see if the number is still connected, see if the email is still connected. And I'm like, look at me, man. I'm on social media. Yeah. I'm not hard to find.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So it's like, and you can assume what's going on in my life based on what content I'm sharing, but I'm not sharing everything personally.
And what I find funny is that people like to connect back to a person that they tried to forget, but now see growth.
Yeah, but I'm not interested in that shit.
I'm not interested in it either.
I don't give a shit about that, right? Like I'm not
like
you had a choice then. I was interested in you then.
Yeah,
I wanted to make it work.
You
then.
gave up on me then.
No, it's not. I'm not trying to penalize you. I'm not trying to punish or anything. No, I'm just saying that you honestly felt that there was a better man in your life.
Yeah.
And you went that route, and now you got married, had a kid with that person, and surprise, surprise, it didn't work out. And I'm like, that just reassures my thought process. Where I was like, when I looked at you and I thought things through, I'm like, yeah, this isn't going to work out. And then sure enough, it didn't work out. But then they come back at you and say it didn't work out because it wasn't with you. And I'm like, life doesn't work like that. You get one shot.
No. I've been asked, like, would you ever go back?
What's the point?
But how could I? Because at the end of the day, we're men. Why would I go back to someone?
I wouldn't.
After you wanting to be with someone else. How would you, I don't care how much growth, I don't care how much you've changed, I don't care now that you see me as a different person, now that you can, because I wasn't that before, but you should have waited around to see this person now.
I tell all the young guys.
You got to put in the work.
I tell all the young guys, they ask my opinion, and I just say, listen, whatever reason ended that relationship is going to rear its head again.
It's going to be there. It's going to be there.
So you can have fun and it's all feeling like styrofoam now. It's all new car smell, new everything. Yeah. Great, whatever. But I guarantee you, you're still going to, it's a butterfly effect. You're still going to fucking end up in the exact same situation. The only difference is you've consumed time now. That's the only difference.
When I was going through therapy after my separation, it's funny is that the main thing that they talked about is that don't give up too quickly because your wife, your ex-wife, is just trying to see if there's anything better. And that kind of like threw me off. And now it's because you hear these stories. These women, oh, you know, my husband's a deadbeat. My husband, you know, he's not the same man that I fell in love with and whatever. And then they're going to go see if there's something better. Maybe he didn't
change. Maybe you changed.
Maybe.
No, that's never come up in the little girl.
No.
Girl group.
That won't. No. They won't talk about that. But then you hear these stories of, you know, women wanting to get back because the grass wasn't greener. But guess what? You already put your ex-husband through a life-changing.
She has no idea what he went through.
No.
Or what he's continuing going through.
No.
I know.
I went through some dark times, you know, and that I will never allow anyone, any woman, anyone to have that power over me again. Because, and I'm here to this day still because of that my little girl.
Yeah, of
because
course.
I made the choice of not wanting to disappoint her.
Yeah.
You know, not wanting for her to get that call. You know, that's I wake up every morning thinking about that.
It's a big deal, man. It's a
big deal because I don't want to be that selfish person.
Yeah.
I got no sympathy. Especially like I hate the fact of how they disvalue men. You know, they belittle men and they've made the man look like a bitch.
I know.
Okay? In the past fucking 10, 15 years. You know, and a lot of good men I've lost, a lot of good friends I've lost, especially in the industry, because of suicide, because of a woman.
Yeah, I know. I believe it.
Like one of the funniest guys on a job site that I've worked with, like literally was with them 2 days before doing a slab with them. 2 days later, I find out he fucking kills himself. And I knew his struggle. I talked I was going through my stuff. We would talk. And I knew he was going through the court system. You know, he didn't have any kids, but this woman was just ruining his life. And he didn't know what to do. And I kept, you gotta be strong. And guess what?
There's only so much that
there's only so much you can take.
Yeah.
And you know what? You think she's giving a shit? You so-called love him? You so-called like made him like, come on. I don't know what she's doing, but I guarantee she ain't giving a fuck about him.
She's not going through the same kind of pain that he's going through.
No, because he's already gone through and he's gone.
And the problem is that once they start educating themselves that the courts will benefit the female over the male, it's wrong.
No, but the courts now are like, the courts don't want, they're taking care of the things now. You know, back then.
Are they?
I think so. I really do. I want to believe that now that, you know, that they're gonna allow the fathers to be part, because at the end of the day, things are different. Men are now actually wanting to be.
But then you get women that are just vicious and they'll just take advantages and make up shit. And then you got men trying to hide what little money they have left over while they still try to provide. It becomes a financial fight. And now you're stressed out while a man is living in a basement apartment while she's living in the house that he's provided for her. It's worse if you have children. I get it, but it's hard to hear about lots of men have taken their lives over that, right? Because they just can't handle it anymore. And at some point you got to ask yourself, what the fuck else, man? Like, what else am I going to do? What other options are there on the fucking table? And then they make that decision, which is it's a hard decision to make, but they make it and then they commit. That's the thing about men. They commit to it. The percentage between women and men suicides is astronomical. Women don't kill themselves.
No. They drown themselves. As a person who's been around suicide through a couple friends and everything, and myself even getting to that point, it literally comes down to that one moment of finally saying to yourself, is this it? Or are you going to actually man up and now not allow anyone to do that to you again? I won't go into details on my stuff, but I've been in some dark places.
Yeah,
and you know, I know a lot of people who've been there, and it's tough. It's tough to get out of it. And a big part of it was also because of communication. It was also because needing to talk about it. You know, and that was a big part of it. That got me out of it. And also just looking at myself in the mirror and having my daughter's picture on that mirror every morning. Right? That's why you don't do it.
No, it's a very good reason.
That's why you don't do it. And it's a tough talk, man. It's one that shouldn't be spoken about a lot, but it also is spoken about a lot.
See, this is why I get really upset about people taking advantage of the construction industry, because people look outside of the construction industry into the construction industry and don't realize how many men, and I'm just going to point fingers at men in the construction industry. I know what the percentage of female that are in the industry, but I have yet to meet a female that's going through the problems that the men are going through. And they look into the construction industry and they just think we're a certain stereotype. And I'm like, every single man on that job site is going through a divorce, going through a child separation, going through a drug addiction, they are human beings and they have problems going on. And to people outside of the industry looking in, they're just like, you guys are a nuisance. You guys are grunts. You guys are pigs. You guys are drinkers, drug addicts. They just paint this negative brush. And I'm like, no, they're fucking human beings that are actually providing what they can for who they have in their life.
Yep.
So they may not be better than you. They may be fucking worse off than you. We don't know, but you're definitely not better or worse off than them. You're just another human fucking being.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I don't care if you're driving a luxury vehicle. I don't give a fuck if you have a job that's far more pain than their job. You're still a fucking human being. So have some respect for the people that are there trying to just survive.
Well, that's all we can do, survive. That's all we can do.
Simple as that. Everybody... Listen, man, I had my fair share of calls of people reaching out because they appreciate the show and then they want to talk to me, and you start hearing all these stories, and that's why I've heard these stories. I've had guys tell me that I'm thinking about fucking killing myself, and I'm like, you can't say that to me. You can't.
So then what do you do?
I remind them of what they do have.
That's all you can do,
man.
man.
How little, if it's a crumb.
That's all you can do.
You remind them of what little they do have.
Yep.
Because you have that. Mm-hmm. And then you remind them of something else and something else. Something good. Because they've shared what they have, right? And a lot of them are attached to kids, and it's hard with kids. I understand it's completely hard with kids. But that's all you can do.
So when did this all start?
The show?
Construction life, yeah.
Next month, 7 years.
Really?
It was St. Patty's. It was St. Patty's, March 18th, 7 years ago. It was the first one that was recorded. And I've been doing it since. I've stuck with it.
Round of applause to you.
Thanks, I appreciate it, man.
Yeah.
I've gone through a bunch of... there was lots of haters in the beginning. Mm-hmm. There was lots of fucking idiots that just didn't like me. No, not family. No? Family didn't give a shit.
Any friends?
No, construction friends.
Yep.
I had friends of mine that were like, why the fuck are you even bothering? What's the point? Until it started turning, and then it started like doing something, and then made a little bit of money. And then all of a sudden those same friends were like, okay, keep it up. And I'm like, yeah, but there's a lot of work involved in keeping it up. And then the haters started disappearing because I'm not fucking going anywhere. It's as simple as that, right? I recently announced that I'm past the midway point. Mm. That's a fact, but I'm still, there's still a lot more shows to record, right? But I'm not leaving this to completely leave. I'm leaving this to go do something else that I'm planning, right? So I'm a creative individual. I always come up with shit. So let me ask you this. Has there been topics every year? Like, has there been a different kind of topic that you've
So what's the plan for next year? What I mean is like, have you had plans, topics?
Like, we've done
over the year.
The kind of like, I like that we've expanded. I like that I want to continue doing more TNT shows, right? So the new Tough. We started talking about mental. We started talking about suicide. I like that we're doing the safety corner shows. Those I love because I'm learning so much about safety and about awareness and about what's really going on job sites, right? And I love that we're doing the Building Joy shows, right, with Teresa, because we just talk about how we can stay happy, we're just trying to survive, right?
So what did you do in construction? Were you renovator?
I was a GC.
GC, okay.
Yeah, I'm residential, custom.
Yeah.
Right? And I got sick and fucking tired of it when clients weren't paying anymore.
Yeah.
Like a lot of people.
No, a lot of people, yeah.
Either other people just make it through.
Yeah.
But I also, like yesterday I got another message from a guy. He's been on the show, super nice guy, down to earth, and he's giving me the play-by-play about a certain legal situation that he's in with a client. And he's not the bad guy in the situation.
No.
And he's getting fucked over.
Yeah.
And he's fighting, and they try to get to a settlement point, and what the clients are offering is bullshit.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's not even going to cover a fraction of his legal so far. And then when he asked my opinion about it, the first thing I said to him was, how good is your marriage and how good is your relationship with your kids? Because those two things are going to get tested now.
Yeah, because it's going to be tested for sure.
Financially, you're going to be putting money into something that you still don't know if you're going to get back.
Yep.
And then every single day, you're going to wake up consumed with what's next on this fucking thing. Whether it's their bullshit lies, your emotions, their emotions, mediation, lawyer bullshit, emails, you're going to get sick to your stomach feelings every time an email dings and it's your lawyer's email coming at you because your lawyer's not communicating, calling you, contacting you to basically say, hey, buddy, how's everything going? You want to go catch a ball game or something? Yeah. No, your lawyer's contacting you because he's billing you by the fucking hour. So it's like, how good is your marriage? How good is your relationship with your kids?
Yeah.
And he said that they're strong, and I'm going to follow this through. And he's been asking other people what he should do. I gave him my opinion, and he's still fighting it. And the last one I heard is that they set a trial 2 years from now.
Wow.
This has been going on for 3.
Wow.
So 5, and that could get extended. And then I also did remind him,
more money.
Even if you win, it's not the court's obligation to get that money to you. It's your obligation.
And look at the time. Look at the time he lost.
Introducing Alt Labor Solutions, the game changer for contractors and laborers. Are you a contractor needing skilled labor or have labor in need of quick shifts? Or how about buying, selling, or renting tools, material, and equipment? Connect easily with contractors and find resources hassle-free through Alt Labor Solutions online platform. Post job listings with project details, browse public resumes, and choose the right person for the job. Explore their job board for new opportunities and connect with top talent. Alt Labor Solutions revolutionizes the labor industry with a user-friendly interface, secure payments, and a supportive team. Visit them at altlaborsolutions.com and start connecting with other contractors today. This message is proudly supported by the Construction Life. So I think when I turned 40, I started looking at time differently.
I just turned 40 last month.
You just start looking. Some people look at it differently. Like
literally,
earlier.
time is your worst enemy. Time is your worst enemy.
So do I know other GCs that are in their 60s and they're fighting fucking court battles. And I'm like, dude, what is the fucking point? Like, we're going to win. We're going to win. Time is more valuable, in my opinion.
Yeah.
So you want to fight? Go ahead and fight. You want to fucking call me names? Go ahead and call me names. I don't give a shit. I don't care, right? So I do all the different shows. It's like I enjoy doing the different theme shows. I like that the conversation, just like this one, goes wherever it's going to go.
Yeah.
I don't police people. There's no reason. And nobody's ever going to come on the show and tell me that you can't put that show out there. It doesn't work that way. Like, I have a conversation. If you don't want to listen, then don't fucking listen, right? But I mean, I spend time to meet somebody like yourself. We sit down. I got Otto there, working the command center there. So it's like people put effort into this show, right? So, and it shows. Like, people listen to it, and I get a lot of compliments for it. Are they all fucking perfect? Fuck no. There's some that are shit? Fuck yeah. But I mean, like, when you get over 700 fucking shows and you're creeping up to, 750. You
feel like you're making a difference?
I totally think I'm making a difference. I love that. I talk to people in their early 20s that just discovered it.
Yeah.
And I'm like thinking to myself, hang on a sec. So you would have been like 16, 17 when I started the shows. And if I were to Rolodex back on all my shows, the information that's shared, 100% fucking relevant.
Yeah. Yeah.
We don't dive deep into, here's the latest fucking tool that will basically suck your dick while you put all this shit together. No, I don't care about that. We talk about virtues. We talk about personality. We talk about character. Yeah. We talk about honor. And this is shit that is timeless. So if you want to get on a job site and waste 8 hours and just fuck the dog, or you want to get on a job site and meet as many people as possible and try to get some knowledge from them, like which tradesperson do you want to be? So if you listen to this show and it helps you and it inspires you and it guides you, then fuck, that's all. I started the show, all I cared about was one person listening. There's lots more than that are listening. And so that's why I'm proud of the show. The show's going to still continue. And I have a new show idea that I'm going to start. And I've already pitched it to a few people and they fucking love it. And it's along the lines of what we just spoke about, where I definitely think that we need to cover this one specific topic. I think it's extremely important. I've been a huge supporter of females in the construction industry. Huge supporter from day one. I was the first fucking construction podcast to have a female on the fucking show talking about her trade, right? And her experience and all this other shit. And I've constantly done that. I've done several dozens of female-led shows, right? But this new show that we're going to start designing and working around, it's around men. I'm going to focus on men. Like, what is a man and who is a man?
How does he become that?
Yeah.
Yep.
From a boy to a man.
Yeah.
I want to see men now respecting being a man.
So would you want more younger children, or not younger kids, but younger?
Listen, I approached them. I approached several people that I know that teach, and I've asked them, can you reach out to the students to see if they want to come on the show, come on as a panel, and then I'll have myself and maybe somebody else that's an experienced construction person, and get the kids to ask us as many questions as possible. So they're scared.
Oh, well,
they're scared, dude.
Why do you think?
They're nervous about asking the wrong questions or maybe looking stupid.
I think they're more scared because they haven't been exposed enough.
It's true.
To be a voice or to speak on the matter of witnessing something. So like, you look at these trades, you look at plumbers, electricians, HVAC and everything, they'll get a young kid, 17, 18 years old, starting an apprenticeship or whatever. And these kids don't say a fucking word.
Yeah, they're quiet, I know.
They're quiet. It'll take them a year or two to be around those men to actually talk like you and I are talking right now, right? Yeah. So I think that's why, you said that they're scared. Is because they don't feel like they have a voice, or they've been stuck at home.
But if you were their age and you had an opportunity to come on a show like this,
I would jump on it.
Me too.
I would jump on it because because
it's only going to better me.
Yeah. Yeah.
Whether I come out of there with one fucking lesson learned, it's worth it.
Yeah.
So don't be scared. I just said, listen, you're not going to be judged for anything that you're asked. You're not going to be judged for anything that you want to get into or whatever. There might be a few jokes, and that's about it. But I guarantee you that you'll leave this room smarter than you came in regarding construction life.
Yeah.
That's a fact.
Yeah.
But hopefully I get some. I'd love to get the kids on and start sharing it, because I wish I had this fucking show. I would have avoided a lot of fucking bullshit in my construction career if I had this show. I've listened to other construction shows. It's not the same thing.
You've learned a lot. You've learned a lot from it.
Like I get what's going on, right? But I don't get those conversations. Those conversations are policed. They're careful, and I get it. There's a fine line regarding when you're dealing with brands and sponsors, and nobody wants to be attacked. I've had one brand, and I spoke out about it. I had one brand said, no, we can't be associated with some of the stuff that you talk about. And I'm like, oh, you can't be associated with tradespeople that are going through shit?
You can't be a part of something that's a voice about the actual
that's fine
stuff that's going on.
Then go on to other shows where it's basically a paid advertisement. Then do that. That's fine.
Or it's scripted. Yeah.
We got to do the 12 questions, Daniel. I had no idea it was going to go. I was telling Otto before we even got started. I was like, I have no idea what we're going to talk about. But I'm glad that we did.
Buddy, Manny, like I said, when I reached out, you didn't have to respond, but you did. And I said,
respond to anybody that doesn't start the conversation.
No,
you're a fucking
that was
asshole.
great, man. That was great. I said, you know what? If this is if this is my window and this is giving me an opportunity.
Come back anytime, bro.
Buddy, I'm all about it. I'm all about it.
All right, ready?
Sure.
A person you would trade places with for a day.
Shit.
Nobody?
Not really, man. I enjoy my life.
Good.
I enjoy my life.
Good. Guilty pleasure.
Bourbon.
Which one?
Wood Reserve? Or, God, what's it called again?
Wood Reserve.
Or,
Don't worry, take your time.
yeah, I can't remember. I know it's something Wood Reserve or something like that. I just had it the other day. Bourbon. Wood. Woodford. Woodford.
Where's it at?
Woodford. You can get it at the LCBO.
Okay.
Here, it's this bottle here.
Canadian or American?
Yeah, I think it's American.
Oh, I've seen this.
Yeah, it's really good bourbon. Yeah, Woodford. Yeah,
I've seen this on the shelf. Is what I said.
Yeah.
Least favorite tool.
Hammer.
Hammer.
Yeah.
Biggest risk you ever took.
Biggest risk. Finally deciding to leave.
Yeah, that's a big one, huh?
Yeah, 2 years. 2 years of sleeping on the couch, and finally just saying fuck it. Try to put in the work. She tried to too as well, but at the end of the day, it is what it is, man.
You can't.
But that was
best compliment you ever got.
I'm proud of you.
Favorite beverage.
Favorite beverage. Nice cold beer in the summer.
What never fails to make you laugh?
Good conversation.
It's true. There's always going to be humor there.
Yep.
What worst piece of advice you ever got?
That blood was thicker than water.
Yeah, that don't make any sense. Huh?
No, dude.
What profession other than your own would you like to attempt one day?
I always wanted to be a fighter pilot. I thought jets were crazy when I was a kid.
I think they're cool. I'd probably be throwing up though the first few times.
Like I can't even go on a roller coaster. That's crazy. I can
I'm
go
positive
up.
I'll throw up.
I can go up. Like the highest building I've done was 73 stories.
You can't go up CN Tower?
I've gone up to CN Tower.
Okay.
But like you're inside, right? But roller coasters, like for
can't do it?
I fucking can't do it, man. I can't like.
It's been a while since I've been on one.
I've done Top Gun and all that kind of stuff. I've done Drop Zone and whatever. But like it's that, you know what I mean?
The stomach. What's your favorite curse word?
Go fuck yourself.
Statement. What is your favorite vehicle? Any mode of transportation?
Oh fuck. Fuck a Camaro.
What year?
68.
Yeah, that would be it. Racing Stripes?
Racing Stripes.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
You know what's funny is that I hated the IROC in the 80s, but I don't mind the IROC now.
Like I know my plan when I get older, I'm getting like either a Camaro, I want to get an SS or something. I don't know, man, but I want to get something and just
headlights, grill?
Yeah, just
popping up, yeah.
Just fucking, I don't know, man, but just something hot. Something
it always
that sounds,
puts a smile on your face.
Oh yeah.
If you're having a bad day,
just get in the fucking car and go for a cruise. Also a bike too. Like I don't have my motorcycle license, but I've thought about it.
Get it.
Yeah. I've wanted to they say that like motorcycle, like guys who ride motorcycles, it's like being on a horse.
I've been on horses. It's not like being on a horse.
No, I get it. But like, when you're cruising down the road, out in the country, it's the wind.
It's the wind.
I
started with full face and now I only love open face.
Really?
Because I like the wind, but you always have to have the shades.
You have a Harley?
Sorry?
You have a Harley?
No, I got a Monster.
Really?
Yeah. No, you always got to have your shades with you. Sometimes I'll have the visor.
Yeah.
Right? But sometimes the visor, it's the wind.
Yeah.
That's what I like about it.
Yeah.
It's
hearing it.
And plus, I'm not a racer where you're like that's just.
I wouldn't do
it.
No, I wouldn't do it.
No, man.
I wouldn't do it.
You just want to enjoy it.
Yeah.
Last question: if heaven exists, what would you like to hear God say when you arrive at those pearly gates?
That one was a tough one, dude.
Yeah.
That one was a tough one. That you did enough.
That's all you really need to hear, man.
That you did enough. Yeah.
Thanks, Daniel.
Yeah, man.
I appreciate it, man. Thank you so much for making the time coming out.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Have a great Monday morning when you get back on the job site, right?
Yeah, 100%.
We already talked about rigging, but anybody could reach out, find out about rigging.
I mean, I'm always, like I said, I'm never going to take away and not help someone to learn. I've never, like, I was talking about it earlier, the old timers, wouldn't help out because they were afraid to lose their job. Where I'm at is that I will always help because I know what the job is about. I know what dangers can come with it.
Yeah.
And I want these kids, I've had young kids work with me, and then they're having an attitude problem where I just say, okay, I can't work with this kid because he doesn't have the respect.
He doesn't see it.
He doesn't see it. He doesn't get it. But then there's some kids that will, like I would
see it.
I would be petrified, talking to an old timer. I don't consider myself an old timer, but I went there with the respect by, if he can even give me just an inch, I would appreciate it and respect him for that. And all I can say is, especially kids going into this industry, respect comes a long way, and you'll get a lot more with that respect.
I would tell the young kids, if you do come across an old timer on the job site,
stay the fuck away from him.
Well, I would say, listen, most likely his hard hat's going to be down.
Yep.
He's not necessarily looking at you.
No, but he's watching.
That's exactly it.
He's fucking
and
watching.
If you catch a glimpse of that hard hat just come up a tiny bit, just to see a fraction of his eye, you got a little bit of hope that he can see something in you.
Yep.
Tiny bit. Yep. But if that hat stays down and he doesn't give a shit, he knows that you got nothing in you, man. So you got to prove yourself at that
Or one
point.
day that hard hat's going to come flying at you.
That's it. Daniel, thank you very much, man. I appreciate it.
So
Absolute
much,
pleasure having you on the show, man.
Thank you so much.
Come back anytime, man.
Thank you.
All right, we're out of here.